Okay, so if you're planning a wedding right now, or maybe you know someone who is, you already know it's a lot. A huge emotional thing, and honestly, a big financial thing, too.
hmm And there's one purchase that often stands out, doesn't it? The wedding dress.
Yeah.
So much pressure around finding the one.
Exactly. And today we're going deep on maybe the most confusing part of buying that dress, how long it actually takes to arrive.
Ah, yes, the timeline. It's the classic anxiety trigger, right? You find this amazing gown, you're thrilled, and then the shop tells you, oh, it'll be 8, maybe 9 months.
And that time frame suddenly dictates everything else you're planning.
It really does.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We've got some incredible insider info here. We're talking about sources, specifically a bridal store owner with like 14 years of experience working with all the major designers.
Yeah, someone who's seen it all, basically.
Yeah. Right. And they really cut through all the usual industry talk, the marketing stuff. We're going to give you the factual timeline for when that dress actually ships. And maybe more importantly, why some stores make you wait so much longer.
Okay, let's just jump right in with the big surprise, the main point. You're told 8 or 9 months, almost routinely. But our source, tracking thousands and thousands of orders over, you know, a decade and a half, they confirm the vast majority, we're talking major designers here, follow a much, much shorter standard timeline.
So that long wait, it's usually a huge exaggeration.
Almost always, yeah.
Okay, wow. So let's get specific then.
Yeah.
We're talking about the big names, the designers you see advertised everywhere. What is the actual standard shipping time, the time the manufacturer tells the shop?
Okay, the real number. The one designers consistently give to retailers who, place their orders promptly.
Yeah.
It's about 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah, 16 weeks maximum.
Yeah.
That's the time frame this owner reports seeing again and again and again, year after year. For standard dresses, not the super customized ones.
4 months. Okay, that changes everything if you're trying to plan a wedding. That's half the time or
Yeah.
less.
Exactly.
When we hear 4 months, though, you kind of picture someone hand-stitching it the moment the order comes in. But what's the reality of how these dresses are actually made?
Oh, it's a very standardized process, actually.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is the big brands, they pretty much all operate on similar logistics.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the factories making these designer gowns are overseas. We're mostly talking China, but also the Philippines, Vietnam, places like that.
Right.
The systems are really efficient. They're standardized. Once the store places the order, boom, confirmation number, and a 16-week delivery date gets scheduled. There's just nothing in the logistics that justifies an 8 or 9 month wait for a standard dress.
So if 4 months is the standard, why are stores pushing this 6, 7, even 9-month story? Our sources mention that stores often have these external excuses ready when you ask.
Oh, definitely. They need a cover story, right? Like a few years back, you heard stores blaming tariffs for major delays.
I remember that.
Yeah, but our source, the veteran retailer, they were emphatic. Completely untrue, they said. Tariffs affect the cost, maybe, but not the shipping speed.
Okay, so that one's out. What else?
Well, there was also the sort of general excuse about lingering issues after things opened up post-pandemic.
Right, the supply chain chaos narrative.
Exactly. But again, the source confirmed, even placing orders right through that period, they didn't see any significant shipping delays beyond that standard 16 weeks. Nothing major.
So they just need something external, vague to point fingers at. I think that story about the exclusive designer you mentioned earlier really highlights this tactic.
Oh, yeah, that was a perfect example. Someone on Reddit was talking about being told her dress needed 8 months because it was this exclusive designer line. The store was kind of leveraging the brand's prestige to justify this crazy wait time.
Making it sound special and therefore slow, pretty much. But get this. Our source, the honest retailer, they just called the rep for that exact same designer line. And the rep confirmed, yep, actual ship time is 16 weeks.
Wow. So the full store knew the truth.
It seems like it. They were likely lying to manage expectations, or maybe, to pressure the bride into ordering right now.
Okay, so tariffs, pandemics, exclusivity. Sounds like a lot of smoke and mirrors. But what if a store quotes you 6 months or more and they don't even offer a flimsy excuse? This is where your research pointed to something.
Yeah.
But frankly, a bit more concerning than just sales pressure.
Yeah, this is the really crucial takeaway, I think. The number one reason stores inflate the date is often that pressure tactic. You better order today or you won't get it in time. We've all heard that. But when that timeline stretches out to 6, 7, 9 months, that should actually raise a pretty big red flag about the store's own financial health.
Okay, break that down for us. How does a long delivery, quote, connect to the store's money situation? Well, think about the internal process, right? When you put down your deposit, ideally, that money should be used straight away to place your order, secure your spot in the production line.
Makes sense.
But the analysis suggests that a store quoting a really long wait time might actually be, well, financially unable to place your order right then and there. It's a cash flow issue.
Wait, so the money I give them for my dress isn't actually paying for my dress right away?
Precisely. It might be going towards the store's running costs, rent, salaries, utilities, or sometimes it's even used to pay the remaining balance on another bride's dress that just came in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they basically need a constant flow of new deposits coming in to cover the cost of placing the older orders, so your dress order. It just sits there, waiting, until they've collected enough cash from later sales to actually afford to place it with the designer. This creates that artificial delay months long, potentially risky.
That's kind of staggering. It completely reframes the waiting period. It's not about manufacturing, it's about the shop's cash flow.
It really can be.
Are there other financial reasons, maybe less scary ones, for delays?
Yeah, there's also the angle of managing the relationship with the designers. Stores sometimes hold on to individual orders. They wait until they have a few more
Why would they do that?
to bundle them together. They're trying to hit larger order minimums set by the designer because hitting those minimums often gets the store better perks, maybe deeper discounts or more favorable payment terms.
So my specific dress order is put on hold not because it needs making, but so the retailer can get a better deal on a bulk order later.
Exactly. Your timeline is secondary to them optimizing their own savings.
This all really clicks with that specific story you found, the anecdote about the delayed dress that perfectly shows this financial stalling problem.
Yeah, it's the most clear-cut example.
Yeah.
So there was this bride waiting 7 months for her dress from a pretty well-known store. She kept getting excuses, production delays, issues at the factory, blah, blah, blah.
Standard excuses.
Right. So the bride's mother, getting really anxious, understandably skeptical, decided to call another shop, the Honest Retailer, who was our source for this deep dive. She just asked about the timeline for the exact same dress, same size, same color.
Okay, what did they find out?
Well, the Honest Retailer didn't just guess. They logged right into the designer's inventory system, something reputable stores can do, and they found that the specific size and color needed weren't just available for production. They were actually in stock, already made, sitting in the designer's facility.
In stock, meaning it could ship immediately.
Immediately. It could have been at the salon within a week. The original store has simply been stalling, almost certainly for financial reasons, for about 6 months.
That is unbelievable. It proves the issue wasn't the designer, wasn't Terex, wasn't anything external. It was the first shop's inability or unwillingness to place the order promptly.
Exactly. And the good news is the bride eventually disputed the charge with her credit card company, got her money back, and ordered through the Honest Retailer. Got her dress in a week.
Wow. Okay, so this knowledge really is power for you, the person buying the dress.
It absolutely is. It just highlights why you need to question things. Now, we should add a bit of nuance here because stores throw around the term made to order a lot. Is that completely untrue then?
Right, the term comes up all the time. It sounds very bespoke, very time-consuming.
It is true that gowns are generally made to order. It means they're produced for a specific confirmed order, not just churned out like fast fashion and stockpiled in massive quantities.
Okay.
But, and this is the key part, to meet that standard 4-month delivery window we talked about, designers do anticipate demand. They maintain some level of stock. So a really common size and color, let's say, an ivory size 12, might have already been produced in anticipation of orders. It could be sitting right there, ready to ship, just waiting for a store to claim it.
So while it's technically ordered for you, it might already exist.
It very well might,
Yeah.
especially standard sizes and colors.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about genuine complexity? Let's say a bride wants significant changes, a custom hem length, altering the neckline, adding sleeves from scratch. That obviously will take longer than 4 months, right?
Yes, absolutely. Real customization adds production time, no question. But even with quite significant changes, our source reported that in their entire 14 years, they have never had a customized dress from a major designer take longer than 6 months to ship.
6 months is the absolute ceiling, even for big changes.
For the major lines, yes.
Yeah.
6 months seems to be the practical maximum, even when they're adjusting patterns and doing extra work. Now, we should definitely acknowledge, very small independent designers, the ones without those big overseas production facilities, their timelines might genuinely be longer.
Rough.
But for the established brands you see everywhere, 4-month standard, 6 months max for customs, that's the reality they've seen.
Okay, that context is important. Which brings us neatly to rush fees, the ultimate panic button, right? If you believe that 9-month myth and your wedding is only, say, 7 months away, suddenly paying hundreds, maybe even thousands for a rush seems necessary.
And that's exactly what some stores count on. Those rush fees are often very expensive, and honestly, they should be avoided if you have a reasonable timeline. They're really only truly necessary if your wedding is super close, like 2 or 3 months away, and the specific dress you want isn't already in stock somewhere.
So stores might charge them even when they're not needed.
Oh, frequently. It's
Yeah.
particularly galling when they charge you a rush fee for a dress that, ironically, is already in stock and could ship tomorrow.
Oh,
Or even when it's just going to arrive within that normal, standard 4-month window anyway.
no.
They just add the fee because they can, because you're feeling pressured.
Ugh. Okay, so if you are genuinely on a short timeline, maybe 4 months or less until the wedding, what's the smart move? How do you avoid the stress and the potentially unnecessary fees?
Honestly. The simplest and often the best alternative is to look at buying a sample gown directly off the rack.
The ones they have in the store for people to try on.
Exactly. Stores regularly sell these display dresses. Many shops have a huge selection of samples available, and the big advantage is they're usually sold at a discount, sometimes quite a significant discount. And you take it home that day.
So you skip the whole production timeline, the waiting, the potential delays.
Completely. No waiting, no stress about delivery, no rush fees. You just buy the dress and take it straight to a seamstress for alterations. It's a fantastic option for shorter timelines.
That sounds like a much calmer approach. Okay, so knowing all of this, the 4-month standard, the 6-month absolute max for customs, the risks of delays being financial, what's the ideal time for someone listening to actually start dress shopping?
Right, the practical advice. The expert recommendation, based on all this, is to book your first bridal appointments around 9 to 12 months before your wedding date.
9 to 12 months out.
Yeah, that seems to be the sweet spot. And that's assuming you've already locked in your venue and your date, of course. That timing gives you plenty of breathing room to shop around, make a decision without feeling rushed, and it builds in a really comfortable buffer after that typical 4-month delivery for all the fittings.
Okay, let's walk through that post-delivery timeline.
Yeah.
Because getting the dress to the salon in 4 months is just step one, right? What happens next?
Exactly. This is the final crucial phase. So the gown arrives at the store, you'll go in for an initial try-on. This is often when you bring your shoes, maybe other accessories, to really see the whole look together.
Fun part.
Yeah. Then the real work begins.
Yeah.
Your first proper fitting with the alteration specialist is usually scheduled about 6 weeks before the wedding date.
6 weeks out. Okay.
Then you'll likely have a second fitting, maybe 2 to 3 weeks before the wedding, just to check the adjustments and make any final tweaks.
Fine-tuning.
And if needed, sometimes there's a quick final fitting, just a week or so out.
Yeah.
Then, gown pickup is typically just a day or two before the wedding itself.
Got it. So that 6-week minimum for alterations is why starting 9 to 12 months out feels so safe. It gives you the 4 months for delivery plus like 5 whole months of buffer time before alterations even need to start.
Precisely. It's all about removing that unnecessary pressure and anxiety from the process. And look, before you commit to any salon, you really have to do your homework.
What should people be looking for?
Research the specific designers they actually carry. Check their general price point so you know if it fits your budget. Understand their sizing policy. And critically, ask really detailed questions about their ordering process and their alteration services before you sign anything or pay a deposit.
And if they quote you that 9-month timeline.
Ask them directly for the official designer lead time for your specific dress, in writing if possible. See if it matches up. Be informed.
This deep dive has really made it clear, hasn't it? That stressful, super long wait for a wedding dress often isn't about complex global manufacturing at all. It's frequently, well, it's a calculated strategy by the retailer.
Yeah. The standard is 16 weeks. Anything significantly longer than that may be creeping towards 6 months or beyond without customization. It's likely either a sales pressure tactic or, more worryingly, a sign the store might be struggling financially or just trying to bundle orders for their own benefit.
So a long quote usually says more about the retailer's cash flow or profit strategy than the actual production time.
That seems to be the core issue. So thinking about this lack of transparency in such a high-stakes emotional purchase, how can you apply this insight more broadly?
Good question. Well, maybe the takeaway is this. Whenever you're making any kind of high-cost milestone purchase, maybe ordering a specific car configuration, custom furniture, high-end electronics, if you get quoted a really, really long lead time, pause. Question the motive. Is this genuinely about production complexity, or could the seller be delaying for their own reasons, maybe financial ones? It pays to try and verify actual inventory or lead times directly if you possibly can. Always question the delay. That's a really powerful, actionable thought to end on. Okay, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.